Hi everyone, if you want to learn how to make a waterproof dragon, then you came to the right place. I'll get right into the tutorial so you don't have to wait. So this is the paper I use for waterproof dragons. It's probably the most important part of the dragon because it's the waterproof part. Make sure you get the double-sided waterproof paper because if you only get one-sided then it won't really work. So this paper is really hard to fold for some reason, so you kind of have to work around it. The base is the main source of folding, so you may have to have some patience and weigh it down with something for a little bit. So on how to make the base, I do have a tutorial linked in the description, but I'm going to explain it here too. First, you have to cut a piece of paper in half and then just fold it like normal, like I'm doing here. Again, I did say that this paper is really hard to fold, and it is, so you'll probably just have to wait a little bit and put some books on top of it or something heavy for a little bit, and then it'll fold like normal. I suggest the fingernail crease. It really does a dent in this paper, but here I have some books and I'm just going to put it on top of the paper for a little bit, and then I'll do the same thing on the other slip of paper. This is the fingernail crease if you didn't know what it was. Now that your weighting is done, you can tape down that little flat piece that you just folded. That extra little piece that you have there, you'll just fold that again. Then you'll do the same process of weighting. You'll just put books on top of it or whatever heavy object you have, and then yeah. Once your weighting is done, you'll tape it down again. It's okay if you have this little gap, it's just how the paper works. Now you'll do the same process on the other strip of paper that you cut. You should have something like this. Now you'll fold those pieces of paper in half, like I am doing here. The waterproof paper is thicker for this part, so this part is probably the hardest to fold, so you will have to wait a little bit. Measure your hand like I'm doing here for the top piece. Put a little piece of tape on it like I'm doing here. It's not permanent, so don't press it down a lot. Measure for the bottom jaw. Cut the bottom jaw so it's shorter than the top jaw. Now do your triangles. If you don't know what triangles are, you can just watch me here, or you can watch the real tutorial I have for just normal paper dragons. Cut your triangle out. Fold the flaps of your triangle. This part shouldn't be as hard as the other parts because you're only folding it halfway. You don't have to fold it like the entire way so it touches the other side of the paper, if that makes sense. Now tape the triangles onto your base. Now just make more triangles like normal, or the other parts of the base, like I'm doing here. Do the same process on the bottom jaw and you should have something like this. If you didn't really understand what I was doing in this video for the base, then I do really suggest you watching my normal tutorial. It explains stuff much better. Now tape the two pieces of your base together like I'm doing here. And then bam, there's your base. And then there's your completely waterproof base. Now you'll start sketching the design out. Keep in mind you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot erase on this paper, so do not mess up. Now you'll outline your perfect design. I should have said this earlier in the video, but the only marker that works for this paper is Sharpies. All the other brands of marker that I've tried does wash off, so just use Sharpie to color your design, outline, and stuff like that. Also, when you are coloring and outlining your design, try and outline and color lightly because the waterproof material does kind of scrape off, so it can kind of kill your Sharpies, but yeah, just be a little careful. I only use Sharpies for little details because you can't really color big spaces with them on this paper. I use vinyl for big spaces because vinyl is waterproof and it just sticks right on, so it works really well. So for example, I did use vinyl for the eye. Now you'll cut out your design. This paper is not really hard to cut, so you shouldn't have a problem with this part. Since this paper is kind of small, you need a separate piece of paper for the ear and a separate piece of paper for the face. Here you can see I drew my ear on a separate piece of paper and I covered it with vinyl because Sharpies can't cover that much space. Now that your ear is done, you can cut out your ear. I traced my ear in the shape of North Carolina because that's just the design for this dragon, but you would design your own ear. You can line up your ear to your dragon face to make sure it fits, and then start making your horn. I also did use vinyl for the horn here, as you can see. Then you can cut your horns out. Since my vinyl is sticky, I just stick it right onto the waterproof paper and re-cut it out again. If you haven't already, then you can flip over your face and trace it again for the other side. Add your details with your Sharpie. By the way, this is how I do the vinyl for the eye. Now you can tape on your horns and your ears to your face. By the way, please don't copy my design. Ignore the change in lighting, but now you can tape your design onto your base. Draw whatever you'd like on your bottom jaw. Once you've taped everything on, then bam, you're done. Enjoy your completely waterproof dragon.